Hi, I'm Amelia Qualters, and I'm here with the Crimson Highlights, and we're here to interview Professor Tony DeMauro from the art department for the Professor Spotlight. Thank you for showing up and answering some questions today.
Great, thank you for having me.
So, what is your educational professional background?
I guess the start of my educational background was when I graduated from IUP in 2006. While I was a student at IUP, I began working locally as a graphic designer. So first it was part-time, and then once I graduated, it sort of gradually went to full-time, just locally in Indiana as a graphic designer. And from there, I took that experience and everything I learned and put together a portfolio, and then I went to New York City to work as a graphic designer in New York City. And I worked at a design agency in Queens for a while, and it turned out that there was sort of a vacuum for an art director position, that the art director had just left. So we were all all the other designers and I were sort of working equally at the time on projects, but they really needed an art director. So I sort of took that opportunity to sort of step up and sort of take the reins on that position. And after about maybe a year or so, I was able to step into the art director role. So I started out locally as a designer, and then I moved to the design agency as a graphic designer. And then I became the art director, and I did that for a couple years. That was good. I got a chance to work with a lot of different people and creative directors from Ogilvy and Mather and all kinds of different places. And that was a lot of fun, but I decided that I wanted to do something to sort of get my hands dirty again. I wanted to sort of learn a little more and take it a little bit further. So from there, I went into the freelance world, and I took on a lot of freelance web design clients. While I was at the agency, I learned a lot about the internet. So I started to take on more and more freelance work, and it sort of hit a critical mass where I was in a good place, but I still wanted to take it a little bit further. There was still that sort of unknown quantity. So then I went back to graduate school at the School of Visual Arts, and that was tough to get into. They accept less than 9% of the graduates. It's one of the top-rated schools in the United States. So I went in there, I did my 2-year degree, and then coming out of there, I really sort of fell into my own with this stylistically, and I had my voice and everything. So I just combined that with what I already knew, and I kept doing the freelance circuit, and then I found myself here. So that's kind of how that worked.
And so, what do you like most about teaching?
That's a good question. What do I like most about teaching? What I like most about teaching is the students. That's the most fun part, because after you sort of come up with the curriculum for a class, that's also fun too, but then you sort of repeat it. What makes it interesting and what keeps it fresh and really exciting for me is seeing all the things that the students do. Everyone takes it in a different direction, and that's always exciting for me because there's a lot of solutions to problems that I didn't originally think of. So that's something that I always look forward to. And I guess the other thing I like about it is the satisfaction I get from seeing students succeed. That makes me feel really good because I put a lot of energy into what I do. It's eat, sleep, and breathe it, teaching and design and what I love to do. So when you see the students sort of pick up on that and take it in their own direction and be able to share in that enthusiasm, to me that's a really rewarding aspect of what I do. It makes it worthwhile. It's sort of a satisfaction you can't get from just doing the work yourself out in the commercial field.
And what is the hardest part about teaching?
The hardest part about teaching is motivating the students. It seems like, by and large, the students here are really good, and mostly the upperclassmen really work hard. They know what they want, they know what they're after, and they go for it. And I think that's a really good thing. That's a really good thing. But there are times when the students don't want to do it or they don't understand the value in it. So it's my job to sort of motivate them and sort of try to flip things around on them so they can see the perspective of the design field and the art field from a different vantage point, something they didn't originally see it as, so that they can have the opportunity to put themselves into it and see where they fit into that field. Because I think a lot of times the students, they don't know where they belong, they don't know what they want to get out of it, and they sort of see it as they're just going through the motions of school. And it's my job to sort of help them see where they fit and to be enthusiastic about it and to see how they fit into this bigger picture and to do something that they love for the rest of their life. And sometimes that's a challenge, so I'd say that would probably be the hardest point, just to help some students get motivated to be able to see things from that perspective.
Can you describe your teaching style?
Describe my teaching style. Well, for me, it's mostly about, like I said, motivating the students. It's about showing my enthusiasm. I absolutely love what I do. I do it all the time, every day, for fun. I do the same things I do for work all the time, every day. I love it. It's what I do inside and out. And for me, it's a matter of just showing up every day and showing my enthusiasm about why I love it and why it means so much to me, and hoping that the students see that and they can become enthusiastic too. Again, they can share in that enthusiasm and they can take what they want from it. They can go their own direction with it, and they have the ability to sort of find their own path in life. But I think the teaching style comes back to sort of just showing how you can have fun and love what you do and still work really hard at it and still want to come back for more the next day and want to do even more and love it. Sometimes it's about tough love. It's about pushing people out of their comfort zone, putting them where they're not used to going, because that's part of the learning process. And I understand it and I get that. But I want to motivate people from a positive place. I want them to see enthusiasm and really love what they do so that they can sort of share in that positive feeling rather than sort of a negative reinforcement to force them through the program.
All right, well, we want to thank you for being here and answering the questions for the Professor Spotlight this week.
Thanks again for having me. Always a pleasure.
And join us next week for the next Professor Spotlight on Crimson Highlight.